So what's been your favorite part so far about being a mom, and like what's the biggest challenge?
And I was just like screaming and bawling. And I was like, you have to help me.
That's wild.
Like if dads don't want to watch the birth, they can be above it. And what was so wild to me was that there is no curtain at all. Like you're all just out in the open. Everyone sees everything.
Wait, there wasn't a curtain?
Doctor says, okay, now we got to birth your placenta. And you're thinking like, to hell you do, because there's no way anything else is going to come out.
Welcome back to another episode of Mean Girl Pod. Look who's back!
The band is back together.
Some would have thought
Yay.
it maybe would have been a couple more episodes, but not this girl. This girl's ready to get back into action.
I kept seeing these things online like the past 4 weeks, and I would be like, oh, that's a great topic. And I'd be like, oh, it'll be past by the time we get there. It's not a great topic. And I was so sad. Like, I missed recording.
I know, same. It just didn't feel the same without you. And I feel like you have been gone for 5 years.
Yeah, it feels like 5 years and 1 day. Like, just like, it feels like it was fast and it feels like it was slow all at the same time. But your episodes were really good. Did you enjoy it?
I did. I think we had some incredible girls like that were just so good at not only podcasting, but just like have a great like response to a lot of things and just brought a lot to the table. So I was really happy with the people that came on.
Yeah, no, I thought that the interviews were not interviews. I thought the conversations were very, very, very good, and they were insightful. The girls were. So
I agree.
But I was jealous of them all. I was like, oh,
I know, it's just not the same.
No, I'm so happy to be back. I feel like this is going to be a great episode, and yeah, I'm not going to have another kid for a while, so it won't happen again.
Fingers crossed. You might have Irish twins.
What are Irish twins? Same year?
You would like literally get pregnant as soon as you're able to. So they would be, I don't know, I guess less than 18 months apart.
Julie's saying that's 11 months apart. No.
Yeah.
I could handle, I get the 2 under 2 thing. I could handle that. But 11 months apart would mean you got pregnant in like a month.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, 9. Yeah. Oh.
I know my brother and I are 18 months apart. And so we're a grade apart, which I think is perfect. But can you imagine the toll on your body?
No. No, I cannot imagine. That would be terrible.
Also before.
It just wrecks you.
Oh, I have literally so many questions. But before we get too far into it. Dun, dun, dun. We got a quick talk about Monster. You know me. I am a character. What is that when you do the same thing every day?
Oh my God, no! You're a character of habit, creature of habit.
Creature of habit. Chris is like, come on, girls. I drink the white every single day. I just love it. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, you love all the flavors. I can't wait to try all the flavors. Like I have Pavlov's dog. Like I'm salivating at the mouth.
I was at the store the other day, and I was at like a true 7-Eleven, and they had every flavor of Monster Ultra you could ever think of, all stacked perfectly, and I was like, this is a beautiful sight.
Oh, the store next to me has like 4 flavors, and they look so beautiful by each other. Yeah. But I've never seen them all. I love that you said you're like a real 7-Eleven, not a fake one, a real one.
Not a one that's in the wall. One that actually has like a gas station you got to drive up to.
Oh, because you were at home.
Yeah,
you were dog sitting your child, Elroy.
Yes.
That's right. I saw that.
My baby. But let's talk about your baby. You're a mother.
Wait, hold on really quickly. I had a dream about this. Are your parents in the hurricane?
They were in the hurricane, yeah.
And are they okay?
Yes. So my parents live in Sarasota, and they're like 30 miles from the coast. So they were hit by high winds, and they have no power right now, but they're very safe. There's like damage around the house. But it was very scary because that was actually my thorn of the week. I've never experienced my family in a hurricane, and
right,
yeah, it was really scary. I feel so bad for everyone in Tampa, and like Sarasota got hit more than they thought, like that whole area. it's just like so surreal because like you've seen all of those places before and now you see them flooded or damaged, and it's just like such a more real feeling having like people. I mean, obviously like having people you know and love there, but also I was literally in Tampa 5 days ago.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. It's not funny at all. None of it's funny, but it's so surreal how it can just change in a day, in an hour, you know, like you were there and it's beautiful. And then, you know, this tragic thing's coming. And I saw that weatherman, that meteorologist who was talking, and he started crying.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm just so sorry. Like, this is just, it's so tragic. And it really is.
And it's just crazy because like, so someone was looking out for me because I came like 2 days after Helene hit to babysit my parents' dog. And then I left 2 days before Milton hit. And that was just how my flights were booked. And I was so grateful that I wasn't grateful that my parents came back to Florida, but I was so grateful that how it was set up because I can't imagine me being there with Elroy by myself. I would have been terrified. But yeah, I literally went to Tampa and saw now what is flooded, like the hospital and like apartment buildings. I'm like, I literally walked past those 5 days ago.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. And like the repair. And wait, on your flights though, I thought it was so crazy how people were saying their flights were like, and I know this isn't like the airlines aren't purposely doing it. It's like it's an automated system, but how the flights to get out were spiking because so many people were booking them. So they're like $2,000-$3,000.
Yeah.
Your flights were booked so early though.
Yeah. I booked my flight like 6 months ago because my parents were leaving for a wedding. So as soon as they had their wedding, I think I booked mine back in like March.
Wow.
So my
Was your
flights were
flight
decent.
like packed though? Was the airport just a mess?
So I flew out of Sarasota versus Tampa, which I was really grateful for because I feel like Tampa would have been really scary. But when I was in Sarasota, it was kind of freaky because everyone on the flight, all at once, people's phones were doing that emergency weather alert sound where it was like evacuate, and everyone's like, "Okay, get us the F out of here, like, please." But it's actually interesting because a lot of the people on the flight weren't like Floridians because they're just like people who are visiting Florida because a lot of Floridians like to stay in their car so they can pack up their cars and evacuate with like as much of their belongings in their car. So a lot of the people on the flight were just tourists or family. And it wasn't as crazy packed as I thought it would be, but my flight was full.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. And I do get wanting to leave with your car. I guess that makes a lot of sense. But speaking of Elroy, did you see that dog that was chained to the fence and the water was like up to here? Like he was there and the state trooper, they got like his body cam. And he gets out of his car. He's like, buddy, come here. And the dog's like trying to move, but he can't move. And the state trooper's like, he's chained to a fence. So he goes over and he like gets him out and he saves the dog. But like the dog was about to drown.
Let me tell you, there are some sick people out there. There were so many people abandoning their animals. It made me sick to my stomach. And that's the one beauty of social media is like it makes people so aware of what's going on. So a lot of people did go and foster dogs for the week just to get them out of the shelters that were going to be impacted by the hurricanes because people are sick and they were just leaving their dogs tied up places.
How can you leave your dog? Like the dog is helpless and you have to take it. Oh, it just breaks my heart.
Yeah. So that was my thorn of the week was just going through all of that. But my family's okay. Just loss of power, which is obviously like sucks, but not even comparable what most people went through. And I just hope that everyone gets back on their feet soon. I was talking to Julie and I have links to resources and stuff so we can put them in the description of the episode where people can donate like to Amazon wish lists and like different charities and stuff.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, let's totally do that.
And some shelters for dogs and stuff because it's just so sad.
It's so sad. I do wonder, I guess it is the social media. Like we've obviously had hurricanes, you know, forever. And I do feel like one of the powers of social media is getting word out about what's happening because the news doesn't always do an accurate job of it. Like I remember with Helene was like, the people in North Carolina, this guy kept going live and he was like, the news is lying to you. Like, we need helicopters because we can't get to these people. And like, the news isn't telling you this part of it. But like, if we just had more air support, we could lift people out. But like, we don't have it. So like, I'm literally using a civilian's helicopter. And it's like, the news would have reported that. The news is always like, we got it under control. And so I do feel like the power of social media just lets us know the reality of the situations. And while it's so much more sad than we thought, it's like, it's good to know.
Yeah. Oh my God. There was people on TikTok that I was like following because they were staying in the areas that they were supposed to evacuate. And I woke up this morning, I like checked on them. I'm like, are you good? And they were like, they are, yes. But it's wild.
No, the checking on, I did that. I do that kind of throughout the night because I'm up like every 2 hours. So I'll check on my hurricane people. And like some of them, you know, I'll literally get on and they're like, I gotta stop making these videos. Like, it's way worse than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. So hopefully we're done with the hurricanes for the season. But that was the first hurricane to directly impact Tampa in 100 years.
Wow, in 100 years?
Yeah, like they've, of course, like St. Pete's been impacted and like surrounding areas, but that was the first one to actually go into their bay and directly impact them.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. Well, yeah, our thoughts, our prayers, our what else can you send? I don't know.
So love and support, manifesting.
Love and support, good vibes, all of that go to the hurricane victims. It's so sad. I'm glad your parents are okay. I thought they were in my dream last night, and then I was like, oh, I'll ask her. And then I was like, I'll just ask her on here.
What was your dream about?
It wasn't as positive as a response as you gave me. So,
okay.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It was a crazy, weird dream, and I was watching too many videos.
Oh, what was your thorn of the week?
My thorn of the week was I just feel like a broken record, but like I had some stitches tear, like they came out, and then I had another one come out, and so that's just my repetitive thorn of the week.
Yeah, we're gonna get into all of that because I have so many questions for you.
Yeah, it's wild.
What's your rose?
My rose is just like, I really like this stage of life. So like my rose is just like the baby, the whole, everything that comes with that is like, I'm really loving and enjoying. And I feel like every week she's older. And so it's just like that week is my rose.
Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about her.
What's your rose?
So my rose, besides everything that happened in Tampa, I think people are going to think I'm literally crazy for saying this, but when I was in Florida, I did go around and look at potential places to live in the future, and I found where I'm 90% sure I will go. Quick pause to talk about our sponsor, Quince. You guys, I am so obsessed with Quince. I even brought one of my purchases to the recording today because I want to show you guys, so you better go on YouTube right now to see. But Quince is so great. It's the best place to go shopping, especially with the fall weather coming and it turning cooler out and getting ready for football games and pumpkin spice lattes. I purchased this beautiful bag off of Quince, and just look at how cute it is. It's like perfect for all my fall outfits. It's gonna match everything because it's neutral. It's just like this cute little, I guess it's not like a clutch. It's like a small bag. I'm not very versatile in purses, but then it comes with like this gold chain so I can make it longer. And I'm just so obsessed. Like, Pete and I are going to his parents this weekend to celebrate his dad's birthday, and I'm bringing this with me. And I'm so excited to show it off. Like, I'm so obsessed. I actually also got this top from Quince. It's a workout top, and then pajamas. So I'm very much so obsessed with Quince. And then Alex got a sweater that she is absolutely obsessed with. And it's just like such a great place because they have so many different options. The quality is outstanding. It's at a decent price, and I just cannot talk more highly about it. Their fashion taste is off the charts. They have beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. And like I said, like workout tops, pajamas, purses, you name it, Quince has it. And the best thing about Quince is that they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, and of course, premium fabrics that finish for the luxury feel in every piece. So it's absolutely amazing. So get cozy in Quince's high quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/mean for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/mean to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/mean.
Okay, awesome. Where are you going? Can
So-
you share with the class?
Yeah, so when originally I was like St. Pete all the way, and when I went down there, I went to St. Pete for the day. I literally like toured apartments, and it just wasn't. I didn't get that feeling of, I could actually live here and see myself. I didn't get like that feeling in my stomach where I'm like, this could be my home. And the next day I went to Tampa, and I fell in love with Hyde Park. It's like, it gave me kind of like that Austin feel where it's like very modern and a lot of young people and just like very, it's not like cookie cutter buildings. It's like they have a lot of character to them.
Okay, so is Hyde Park like a part of Tampa? It's like a neighborhood in Tampa.
Yeah, it'd be like, what's that?
Like Silver Lake in LA?
Or like in Austin, where did I stay?
Like South Congress?
It'd be like South Congress in Austin.
Okay, that makes sense. And so there's walkability.
So it's so walkable. It's like 2 miles outside of downtown Tampa. So you could walk into downtown Tampa, but it's just like, yeah, it's kind of like a Brooklyn of a Manhattan. Like it's part of Tampa, but it's its own neighborhood.
Okay, that makes sense. And so you actually toured apartments.
Only in St. Pete. I didn't get enough time to tour them in Tampa just because it was like such a long day. But what I'll probably do is end up like living in Tampa. But Hyde Park is just one of those areas where I will want to be a lot of the time because it's so cute. But it's more of like you would buy a house in Hyde Park. There's not like a lot of apartments and stuff.
Okay, cool. And it's 2 miles away, so that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think my map said like 34-minute walk, so maybe even less than 2 miles.
Oh, that's so nice. And you could walk like year round, which would be great.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are going to like roll their eyes and be like, there was literally just a hurricane, and I'm so hoping that Tampa gets put back together fast, not for me to move there, but just in general. But like I went to Tampa and I really was like, I could see a future here for myself.
That's incredible, though, that you got that feeling.
Yeah, so
you found it. I feel like you were like looking between. Remember, like you had the West Palm era, like, and so you really did your research, and then you said, okay, this is where I want to live.
I did, and it's 45 minutes from my parents, so it's like a good enough distance, but also close enough if I would ever to need them. So
45 minutes from your parents, I think, is fabulous.
Right?
Like that's the dream. Like you could still go home for Sunday night dinner, like go there for like a full Sunday. Like I think that's really nice.
But you have enough boundary where they can't just like stop over out of the blue. They have to like.
They're never gonna knock on your door like they were just passing by. Yeah, it's like a really for like an adult phase of life. I feel like 45 minutes is perfect,
And it's very affordable. Like I was shocked at the prices of the apartments. I was like, whoa, I'm gonna live so nice here.
That's where New York pays off, is because you're literally so jaded.
My standards are so low. Like we literally were talking to this lady in the apartment complex, like she was the apartment manager, and we were like, is there laundry? Is there a dishwasher? She's like, yeah. And we were like, sorry, we're from New York. We're not used to this.
Of course there is. Why? Like no one would live here if there wasn't. And you're like, right, my bad. Sorry.
I gave her the budget. And she's like, oh yeah, you can get a 2-bed, 2-bath. I'm like, oh, I'm paying that for a one. I'm splitting a 1-bedroom right now for that cost.
I can get a 2-bed, 2-bath. Whoa. And it's like all new appliances and like wood floors. And you're like, no kidding.
Yeah, no, it's wild. But yeah. So I want to talk about baby now because I can't wait any longer.
Okay, we can talk about baby. She just started crying. Priscilla's holding her. I know. It's funny. Like we're both coming back to work a little bit. And so it's like Harrison's like, he's like, I have to be on this call. And I'm like, okay. So then like we take her and it's like, you can't get her to calm down. It's so funny.
overall, how have you been? I just like, I don't want to, I listened to your and Harrison's episode because I wanted to make sure I'm not like double asking questions because you guys got more, I feel like that was like pretty like logistical and like about the birth. And I know a lot of the listeners listen to both. So I'm like, I had to do my research. I was like, I want to give the people some new information.
You can give them like the girl. Yeah, it's actually very smart of you to do that. Okay, so I guess I'll say this. Like, I had a bad pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like a chance when the baby comes, like a lot of people get postpartum depression. I think postpartum anxiety is a thing. There's so many things that come with it, but I'll just speak on like my personal experience, which was really once like her legs got out of me, like I immediately felt better mentally. Like it was the oddest thing. And one of my cousins had told me like the second that baby left her body, she's like, I snapped back and I felt better. And I thought there's no way. Like it'll take a couple days. And I'm not kidding you. The second she came out, I was like, just like my brain, physically it was a mess, but like mentally I was like, oh my gosh. And I think when your mental comes back, like I felt like the day before I got pregnant, like I felt like my old self. And then I think like that makes navigating the physical way easier.
So you're not experiencing any postpartum depression or anything?
No, knock on wood. I'm very lucky. I know that's not the case for everybody. But I thought that, how I was feeling better in the third trimester.
Yeah.
And in the third trimester, the baby's more developed, so she needs less from you. And so my doctor was like, that typically tells you kind of your hormone trend. I got hit heavier with the depression and the anxiety in the first, second, and beginning of the third trimester. And then my hormones started trending back, which like everyone's different. But that was just, I got lucky. I got unlucky and then I got lucky.
Yeah, I mean, you literally I'm not kidding you, Alex. As soon as you posted your first picture with Tate, you look like you got like the light back in your face. You just looked like brighter. I was like, Alex, not that you were pregnant. Like you have every right to be, like you had a hard pregnancy, but I was like, Alex is back. Like you look so bright and energetic, and in your videos you post, I'm like, I can just tell by the way you speak. I'm like, she just seems so good.
I feel like I'm just so happy that that's what happened, because of course I would have taken the postpartum depression, no problem. Like, you just have to get through it and it's a part of life. But I'm really thankful with like the way things shook out. Cause it makes the tired phase better. And so like everyone's different, but that was my experience.
What was the wildest thing?
Do you have,
what?
I was gonna say, do you have birth questions? Because the wildest thing to me was the actual like birth. Like,
I do have birth questions.
It was wild.
Like, what were things that you learned in that moment that you were like, they do not teach you in textbooks or no one prepares you for? Quick pause to talk about our sponsor, Hungry Root. Meal planning, grocery shopping, and cooking can be a huge hassle, but Hungry Root makes it so much easier and possible to spend less time doing all of that and so much more time doing the things you love. You guys, I love Hungry Root so much. Pete loves Hungry Root. Alex does. Harrison does. It's just so great because for me, if you guys don't know, Pete is celiac, so it's very hard to find foods that he and myself can eat. But the best part about Hungry Root is that right when you log on, you can choose a meal plan that fits your dietary restrictions. So you can pick a high protein option, a healthy option, and then you can also pick like a celiac friendly option, which makes it so great. So we know everything that's being delivered to us is all celiac, so Pete and I can eat it together, because a lot of times we actually make food separately and have to eat separately, which is never fun. So Hungry Root has just made it so much more easy and fun because we can cook the foods together. We don't have to worry about cross-contamination, and it's just made eating dinner together so much more fun because I've tried the breakfast and lunch. I absolutely love them, but the dinners are the best because I can actually utilize it with Pete. It's so much fun. And I don't want to speak for Alex, but I know that she has been loving it since Tate's been here. It's just been so much easier getting all the food cooked with a baby, and it's just made her life so much easier. So I know she absolutely loves it, and she loves the food. Harrison loves the food, and it's just so, so great. Also, Hungry is the easiest way to eat healthy. They send you fresh, high-quality groceries, simple, delicious recipes, and essential supplements. It's like having someone else do all the planning and shopping so you don't have to think about it at all, which is so unbelievably true. Right now, Hungry is offering Mean Girl listeners 40% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. You guys, that is 40% off your first delivery. That's like practically free in my mind. That's girl math. That's free. So just go to hungaroo.com/meangirl to get 40% off your first delivery and get your free veggies for life. That's hungaroo.com/meangirl. Don't forget to use our link so they know that we sent you.
Okay, so the craziest things, like number one, the pushing. Well, I don't know. All of this is so jaded because my epidural didn't really work. So
That was wild.
I guess the number one thing is like, everyone says like, I'm getting an epidural, it'll be fine. Okay, there's like a chance the epidural doesn't work. And I've had so many friends text me, they'd be like, girl, my epidural didn't work. So that's like, because if your epidural works, 90% of your problems are gone if you're the kind of person that wants an epidural. Some people do these natural births.
Hell no.
And then, I know, I'm like, I can't.
Hearing the way you described your pain, I was like, okay, I know Alex has a very, very low pain tolerance. If she felt like that, I would die.
I have a high pain tolerance.
Sorry, you have a high pain tolerance. Yeah.
No, I was looking at Harrison at one point. I remember I sat on the edge of the bed. He knows I have a high pain tolerance too. And I looked at him and I was just like screaming and bawling. And I was like, you have to help me. And he was just like, oh my God. And I think it's because if you know you're having a natural birth, you're in the mindset of knowing pain is coming. But if you think you're having an epidural and then you get hit with the epidural not working, I was just like, no, this was supposed to not feel like this. Like I just couldn't like catch up to it. And then also, if I was even expecting to have a natural birth, whatever I thought a natural birth felt like, this felt 10 times worse.
When you get your epidural, does it hurt to actually get it? Because I've heard like a rumor that the needle's very long and it goes in your spine. Is that false?
It's like it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. Like
okay.
Honestly, it's not this like long feely thing in your spine. It feels like a pinch and a slight amount of pressure in your spine, and I would say it's like a total non-event.
Okay.
So you get to the hospital and they just like greet you like it's a normal day, like a normal doctor's appointment. And they like take you back. And it's crazy because you know you're about to like leave that same room you're going in with a baby. And you're going to be in there for days. You know, you're just like, that they just like walk you back, and like these nurses are so nice, and they plop you down, and then like they start, if you're getting induced, if you're already having contractions, like they still just start to sit in bed and monitor you. But with me, like they gave me this pill, and then it just like started my contractions. And it's like wild. You just sitting there and you go through the process until you're dilated to a 10. And once you hit a 10, like you start to push. And the pushing was so crazy because you like push for, I don't know, 4 breaths, and then you breathe for 1, and then you push again. And their like head like starts to come out, and they don't call your doctor. And like, okay, so every time you push, their head comes, and then you breathe and it comes back out. But once you've pushed so much that their head stays there, that's like when they call your doctor and they like pull her out. It's crazy.
That's wild. Oh my God.
It was wild.
What were the other 2 things?
Okay, so the shakes, you get these like, they call them, they're like your hormones like working, because they know that your cervix is opened, and so they know you're dilated. So you get these things called the hormone shakes, and you can't control them. Like you're chattering and like you're shaking like this, and your body's shaking. And they say the more you try to control it, the worse it is. So you have to like let them go. So like there was points where you would look at me and I would be like audibly just like this, like shaking. And they're called the hormone shakes that happen when you give birth. I had no idea about those.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that was that. And then the third thing is, if you get an epidural, you can't eat. But I had my epidural for although it wasn't working, I still couldn't eat for 20 hours. So you're eating, and like you have to have the energy to push. So you have bone broth and jello, but like once you give the birth, there's this thing called like the post-pregnancy meal, and it's the hungriest you've ever been because it's like you just did 7 marathons, and you didn't eat, and then it all kind of hits you. So it's like it was crazy.
Okay, I have a few questions, and if any of them are like too TMI, just you can say pass. Did Harrison cut the umbilical cord?
Yes, he did, and I didn't even really. They just kind of like there's so much going on at this point, but they hand him the scissors and they say, "Dad, do you want to cut it?" And I remember being like, "Yes, cut it," and then he cut it. But the curtain. You've seen in movies how they have the curtain? Usually it's C-sections, but they always say they have them and it's like above and below the curtain.
Yeah.
So like if dads don't want to watch the birth, they can be above it. And what was so wild to me was that there is no curtain at all. Like you're all just out in the open. Everyone sees everything.
Wait, there wasn't a curtain?
No, there's no curtain. Like he just watched her be pulled out.
Did he faint?
No, they offered me, okay, this is like one thing that was wild to me. In every room that there's this like big mirror. And I thought the mirror was there because we've seen a lot of people online, like they'll do like their makeup when they give birth, which I do. Girls that have their hair done and girls that have their makeup done when they give birth, like I'm in awe by them. Because I was like sweaty, wrecked, bagged under my eyes. My hair was knotted to my head. And I just thought, I don't know how they're having that birth experience, but there's these mirrors in every hospital room. And I thought those must be for people to do their makeup. No, those are for them to put at the end of the bed if you want to watch the birth process.
Oh, hell no.
They kept offering it to me, and I was like, no. And finally my nurse was like, will you just look for 1 second? I said, okay, bring it over. So they bring over the mirror, and I see for 1 second, and I was like, pull that thing away from me. I don't want to watch this. Because you're feeling it. The last thing you want to know is you've been pushing for 2.5 hours, so you feel like her body's halfway out, and then they show you with this mirror, and you're like, you can't even see her. Like, what am I doing?
How did Harrison not faint?
I think because...
I mean, it's probably so beautiful for him.
It really is. It's really not, and I think he said this, not nearly as like gross as you would think, not nearly as like bloody.
Oh.
And yeah, like really like honestly just like a beautiful, cool process because you're pushing with like everything you have. And he was like holding my hand and he was like such a good cheerleader. And then the gross part, I guess, would be when she came out. But like he was like, that was so beautiful and cool that like there was no, I don't know what part you would really faint at.
What does she look like when she comes out? Because I mean, I've never, movies don't do justice. Like, is she bloody? Is she clean? Like, what does she look like?
So they have this like white, and we learned about it in a class. It's good for them. It's like this white stuff on them. I can't think of the name. And you're supposed to leave it on them. Like you're not supposed to wash it off because it's I can't think of it. But anyways, it's good for them. And so she has like that on her, and they're so small. Like it's crazy the fact that in your stomach they were in this little ball. And then when they pull them out, like it feels like coming out of your body. And they like stretch out a bit, and she just curls up, and she was howling. Like just bah. And then they put her on you, like mom's chest, and she feels my heartbeat, and it reminds her of like the womb, and she totally calms down. And I just remember looking at her, and because I had so much fluid, she had a lot of fluid in her too, right? So like she kind of had, like I could tell what her face obviously looked like, and it looks like it does now, but like so much smaller. And not super, I don't even think there was blood on her. I think there was a bunch of this like white stuff on her.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't remember. I just can tell you this, it was the best moment of my life. Like no question, when they hand you that thing, you're just like, whoa, I made this. And because for 9 months you're thinking about the baby and like, what will the baby look like? You know, and like it's all for that like one moment where they put her on you. And when they put her on you, I just remember thinking like, as tough as that birth was, I would have done it for a week. Like I would have done that pain for a week just to have that. Like it was crazy.
Wow. And then what, like you said, it's very fast paced after that, right? Like is that like when the placenta comes out and then they pretty much like sew you up?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the placenta. So I was really nervous about the birthing of the placenta, right? Because I've totally forgot that was the thing. So they get the baby out of you, and the moment she came out, while I felt better, your uterus goes on fire. Like I had a heating pad, and I have like an old school heating pad that was my grandma's, I think, and it's like it gets hotter than like they allow these days. So I had that, and I cranked that on high, and I put that on my stomach, and like the uterus, because the uterus is starting to shrink and it's had this thing in it and it just got ripped out of it. So that goes on fire and you're like, whoa. And then the doctor says, okay, now we got to birth your placenta. And you're thinking like, to hell you do, because there's no way anything else is going to come out. No problem. Like it, compared to the baby coming out, the placenta is just like, feels like a little water balloon or something. I don't know. It felt like nothing. And then they just like, they have the placenta. And at that point, they're like, the baby's crying. You don't even care about the placenta, I guess. I literally don't even know what happened.
But your uterus was on fire. Was it temporary or were you in a lot of pain afterwards?
The uterus was on fire for like,
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Like I had a friend text me and she was like, hey, one thing that no one's really told me but was the biggest thing for me was my uterus after I had the baby. Take a heating pad in case. So I don't think it happens to everyone. I'm so glad I took that heating pad because it was on fire.
Quick pause to talk about our sponsor, Cozy Earth. I absolutely love Cozy Earth so much. I've been using their sheets for a few months now, and I've been getting the best sleep of my life. I know I've said it so many times, but I run so unbelievably hot, and Cozy Earth is helping me stay cozy this fall because their sheets keep me nice and cool. They have this like cooling technology, so Pete and I can sleep in the same bed, which we always do, but I used to sweat because he sleeps warm, I sleep warm, and then I would wake up sweating, or I'd wake up and not have any covers on me because I would be sweating. But since using Cozy Earth, I can actually cuddle up in my sheets, and it's been so nice. Cozy Earth's goal is to help create a sanctuary within your home, and it seriously does that. It makes my bed my little sanctuary, and I've been getting the best night's sleep ever. I know Alex has their pajamas, and she absolutely loves them, and I just cannot speak highly enough about Cozy Earth. Like I said, their sheets are temperature regulation, so they're breathable, and you'll sleep several degrees cooler. They have enhanced fabric, which is a durable weave fabric that won't pill and guaranteed for 10 years. I don't know about you guys, but I've used sheets in the past where you like take off all the sheets to wash them, and you just see these pills everywhere, and you're like, what? I've slept on these for a month. Not with Cozy Earth. You're guaranteed for 10 years, and they have a superior softness, which is the ultimate ingredient for luxury sleep is softness. Cozy Earth uses only the best fabric and textiles that enhances it all. So Cozy Earth is just absolutely awesome. And then the sheets that I use are the bamboo sheet set. If you guys want to try out what I've been using specifically, it's just so great. And the best part is that all Cozy Earth bedding products come with a 100-night sleep trial. So if you're not completely in love with it, you can return it for a full refund, which is so important because getting the best night's sleep is so important. So wrap yourself in luxury this fall with Cozy Earth. Go to cozyearth.com/mean and use code MEAN for an exclusive discount of up to 40% off. You guys, that's another 40% off. That's incredible. Like, once again, girl math, that is free. So that is cozyearth.com/mean. And if you get a post-purchase survey, say you heard about Cozy Earth from Mean Girl podcast.
But everything afterwards goes so fast because like there's a team of, I don't know, 6 people that come in, and 3 of them I think are dedicated to like checking her, and they take her height, and they take her weight, and they like check her lungs and her fluid and all that like immediately. And then like then you get stitched up. So that's when she told me, she's like, okay, you've got a 2nd-degree tear. I'm stitching you now. You don't even feel the stitches. And then like Then they swaddle her. I don't know. There's so many people around you that you just are like, what's happening? And then you stay, at least here, you stay in the room you gave birth in for 2 hours because you can't stand up yet, especially if your epidural really worked. Like you can't stand up with your legs, like, because your legs are numb. So you get a catheter, like you can't go to the bathroom anymore. So like you're fully in bed. And so they're like waiting on your legs to regain feeling. And then after that 2-hour mark, the nurses come in and like you stand up for the first time. You try to pee for the first time. That hurts really bad. And then like you're bleeding, right? So like you have your diapers on and like you can't really walk more than like 3 steps. So then they put you in like a wheelchair and they took us to our postpartum room. And we stayed in our postpartum room for 2 days. And I'll tell you, when it comes to like recovery and like what you can and can't do walking wise, I was like, that sounds really dumb. I'll be able to walk. Like, I was like, I'm going to take a lap around the hospital. I would walk 5-6 steps and like, you can't walk.
Because of the stitches?
The stitches hurt, your uterus hurts, like your body is like, your instinct is like to crouch over, kind of. And mainly it's the stitches that hurt. And like, okay, so when you push, they tell you to push like you're pooping, which is TMI, but like it's got to get out because it's really the key.
Yeah.
And so like everything down there just like hurts and is like sore. And it's like, imagine to try to like push out like being constipated for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So then like you really do. And the more you stay in bed, like the better the recovery is. So those next 2 days in the hospital, like I just sat down the whole time and it was lovely.
So why do you have to wear a diaper? Like, is that normal for everyone who gives birth, or is it because of the tearing?
Everyone who gives birth. So even C-section people. So like, which I didn't realize, but I was looking this up beforehand because I was like, what's bleeding? And it's just like, it's like a period, right? Because it was in you and then like the baby came out. And so like naturally your body just bleeds out. And it starts off, so you wear period pads, right? So like take a medium-sized period pad. Over the span of 4 hours, I think it was, I wasn't supposed to fully fill one up, but I would probably fill it up like 70%.
Oh my God.
And that's like the first 3-4 days. And then it progressively gets lighter. But that was one thing I was really worried about. And I was like, whoa. And it's like nothing. Like I would wear the period pad and I would wear an ice pack and I would spray this like numbing spray on me. And while it hurt like hell, like the bleeding, it's because we're just so used to changing tampons and things. You were just changing pads. Like I was really worried about that. It wasn't that bad.
Oh, I didn't realize it was bleeding. I thought you were wearing a diaper for like, because you couldn't necessarily pee due to the stitches and stuff. So it's like because of the actual bleeding that happens. Like your body's shedding everything.
Oh, yes. It's actual blood. And you can pee, but it kind of hurts. But
yeah,
you can pee. And it does like heal a lot faster than you would think. But at the same time, like it doesn't. I don't know. It's so odd. I can't explain this, but I was so worked up about this. I was reading every day and I was polling everyone I knew that had a baby. And I was like, I just need you to explain to me how bad this bleeding postpartum thing's going to be. And they were all like, I promise you can get through it. And I was just like, I don't know if I can. Like, it sounds awful. And I think it's because you're comparing it to like the birth or something. It was just so seamless. Like I got a big trash can and I put it by the toilet because you're like changing pads a lot and changing ice packs and changing diapers. Like I'll wear a big diaper with the pad and an ice pack and like the spray. And you just like change that every 4 or 5 hours. And yeah, it's totally manageable.
How long does it last for? Like how many days?
2 weeks is when basically 2 weeks. Mine, like I'm still wearing the diaper because of the stitches tearing. So the bleeding got a little bit worse, and like they'll check you for like blood clots the first 8 hours afterwards, just because it's like bloody up there. And so the nurse will come and like run her hand on your stomach and like check for clots. But like by the 1 week mark, it's a lot lighter. It's a lot better.
So how many weeks until you are like back on your feet, fully healed post birth?
Well, I think for most, if you don't have the stitches tear, I would say 3 weeks,
Okay.
2 weeks. And I'm 3 weeks right now, and I had the stitches tear, and I can walk to the coffee shop now. Like I can go on like a 10, 15-minute walk max, and I'm fine. So I would, this is what they say. They say 5 days on the bed, or no, sorry, 5 days in the bed. 5 days where you get up and like walk around your room, so they call it around the bed, and then 5 days near the bed. So that's 15 days. And that to me seems like it's right on the money.
And then how many weeks or months until you can be like physically active again, like have sex again, like your life is just back to normal?
So the sex thing, you have to get cleared by your doctor, which I feel like I'm probably far away from because now, so if your stitches tear or if they come out, they can't re-sew you until 10 weeks. So then it's like if you had a cut on your hand, like like our skin naturally heals. So when I went in, she's like, okay, this like never happens, but your stitches did come out, and like you do have to naturally heal up to 6-7 weeks, and then I can look at re-sewing you. But the hope is that it naturally closes. So but the point is to have sex, basically, like you get cleared by your doctor. And most people say it's around 6 to 7 weeks for them. And then to be active, like to take like I always think about taking a boxing class. I would think that would be also like 5 to 6 weeks. Right now, it's like walking is fine, but you're just like, you're just kind of like you're out of commission.
Yeah. Okay, so now that it's been like 3 weeks, how do you feel being a mother?
It's like I can't even explain it to you. You've seen everyone post the second they have their baby, like their first post is like, my life has changed forever. And I thought, listen, if everyone says it, there's probably something to it, but like I don't know how much there will be to it. And it is, I'm so much more like maternal than I thought I would be, and I love it. I knew I would love it, but I like love it. Right? Like in the middle of the night, like when there's feeding times, like I'm excited about them, and I like love taking care of her, looking at her, like the challenge of it, you know, like the unknowns. I love the diaper changes. Like I don't know what's going on, but like I love every aspect of it. So the mother thing feels so like natural, and it's really like opened up a part of me that I knew was probably in there, but yeah, I don't know. It was like way more in there, I guess. And I just like, I don't know, it like lights me up. Like I feel like a whole new purpose.
So I always knew you'd be a great mother, but I agree with what Harrison said. Like I always knew you were going to be a great mother, but you are so much more maternal, and like I don't know how to describe it. Like, because I don't want to sound like rude in any way, but you're just so like cute and maternal, and way more than I thought you would be. Like you're just, it's like you're just like so affectionate, and I've never really seen that side of you. Quick pause to talk about our sponsor, ZocDoc. ZocDoc is the best because it just makes your life so much easier. When I first moved to New York, I had to leave all of my doctors behind in Minnesota, which took me years defining the best doctors. And I remember that being such a high stressor for me because I was like, I'm not defining new OBGYN, primary care doctor, dermatologist, and so on. And then I started using ZocDoc, and it made my life so much easier because it helped me find all of my best doctors. And now I use the same doctors I started using when I first moved to New York because ZocDoc just made my life so much easier. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click and instantly book an appointment. It just, like I said, makes your life so much easier. We're all very busy, and the last thing we need to do is be Googling and searching all day long for doctors, especially finding ones that are in your network. Like I said, we're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and so much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast. Typically within the first 24 to 72 hours of booking, you can even score same-day appointments, which is incredible because we're all very, very busy. So stop putting off your doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/meangirl to find and instantly book your top-rated doctor today. That is ZocDoc.com/meangirl, ZocDoc.com/meangirl.
That's what it is. You don't like, and I don't really show it, but I always have it kind of. But I like the way he said it of just like, I didn't know to what level, like I knew you'd be a good mom, but like, I didn't know it was going to be like, I want to do everything. I want to change her. I want to like, and I just love doing it. And I actually think I'm good at it. And
yeah,
like I understand her cues and like my motherly instinct with her, like we feel very in sync and I'm like very into the feeding and all that. And so I think, and I don't think you always know what's going to happen when they come out. Like, will someone's instincts be there or not? And it just really happened.
Yeah,
because you've shocking.
Always, you're such a caring and affectionate person, but like seeing you and this has only been on social media, like, so seeing you in person, I know it's going to be 1,000 times more. It's just like, you see this like super affectionate, loving side of you. And it's just like been really, really cute to see. And I'm like, you just seem like the best mother ever.
Well, that's really sweet of you. Obviously fuck up and I laugh though when I do, right? Like I think I'm just like, we can't take this so seriously or I'll go insane. But I absolutely love like being her mom is honestly like my greatest joy. And then I find it just like this, I find these moments with her so sweet. So I'm very like, it was all worth it. I'll put it that way. It was so, so, so worth it.
So what's been your favorite part so far about being a mom and like what's the biggest challenge so far?
I don't have like, if all of it's my favorite part. Like holding her, like looking at her, looking down at her, taking her to do things. Like we take her to the pumpkin patch, taking her now twice. Like I love taking her to do things. That's all, every part of it's my favorite part. And then the hardest thing right now is figuring out, I'm trying to nail my feeding schedule, but it changes so often. Like every week old she is every ounces that she needs. But like if I'm breastfeeding her, I don't know my ounces. And then like, it's just, okay. So you feed every 2 to 3 hours, but it starts. So if you start feeding her at 1, that's when the clock starts. So it's not when you finish. So sometimes you feed her and then you have 20 minutes off and then you start feeding her again. Sometimes you feed her and you have 2 hours off. So trying to like make any schedule right now is impossible because things are changing with her.
Yeah.
Which you just like surrender to. But that's like my challenge right now is figuring that out.
How has breastfeeding been though? Like the whole process, with like learning how to do it, her latching on, has it been good?
I have so many text messages like that can explain that I'm not lying when I say this. I was like, I don't know if breastfeeding's for me. The whole concept freaks me out. And I really think I'm going to hate it. And like, I love it because it's bonding time with her. And like, she latched pretty quickly, but I also had 3 lactation consultants come and just like explain to me better ways to latch, like how to hold her head. And like, I really tried to learn about it. And so like, I don't know if it was a natural thing or if it was because we had the help. But we've latched and like she feeds. And so we're good there. So I breastfeed her and then I pump to have bottles. Like today, it was easier to have a bottle, but I pumped the bottle. So the feeding is, I'm ravenous though. We have cookies always it's just, you're just really, because your blood sugar will just tank, right? Because like you're feeding her and then you're like, whoa, I'm hungry. And so it's like this constant.
Yeah. So, you have to wake up every 2 to 3 hours to feed her in the middle of the night?
Well, so at first it was every 2 hours. Now, like last night we did 4 hours. So we had 2 4-hour stretches, which was great.
Wow.
But I say 4 hours, but you're feeding for one of those hours. So I guess you're asleep for 3 hours. And then I did this like pump session called a power pump. So I did it for an hour where you do like 20 minutes on, 20 off, 10 on, 10 off, 5 on, 5 off, and it like increases your milk supply. But like I will wake up at the 3-hour mark and like your boobs hurt and they like need to be pumped.
Yeah.
And it's like I always thought that. I'm like, no way. And like you just wake up and you're like, ow. And the second you start like pumping, you just feel so much better. So like the milk supply thing is like crazy.
And I heard you say you guys have a night nurse. So like, does she just sit in Tate's room then in the evenings and then wake you up? Like, how does that work?
So she comes at 10 p.m. and Tate's usually still awake and like we're hanging out in the bedroom with her. And so it's so funny because I never understood how it would work either. Basically at like 11 o'clock she gets Tate. Tate goes to bed. And so she goes to, well, I guess every night's different. Anyways, the baby sleeps, and while she sleeps, she like sanitizes the bottles, and then the baby wakes up and she'll change her diaper and then bring her to me, and then I'll feed her for however long. I usually will feed and then I'll pump. So I'm trying to do both right now. While I'm feeding and pumping, she's usually like, you're never not sanitizing the bottles or the breast pump. It's like, and you really got to sanitize them because it can make her sick, or I could get mastitis, which I got anyways. So I don't really know how that happened, and then she's like burping her after that. And then she doesn't fall dead asleep after she feeds, right? So one of us will like rock with her, burp her, and then try to get her to go back to bed. And then she'll like go in her snoo for however long. And then you wake her up again. So really, like, I think the amount of time that she's just like sitting is an hour, maybe.
Wow.
Because there's a lot that's happening through the night. But I'll tell you this. Do you ever have like nighttime anxiety, or like you don't want to go to bed, like you just get like a little anxious?
Yeah.
This has totally removed that for me. Like I don't know if anybody else will have ever felt this way, but like knowing it was kind of like one of the reasons I love New York, because no one's ever fully asleep, right? Someone's always awake. And like I love knowing that I have to get up. Sometimes if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're restless and you're laying there for an hour, there's nothing worse. And then like you're in your own head and like blah, blah, blah. With this, it's like when my head hits the pillow, I fall asleep, like I'm dead asleep. And then I love getting up in the middle of the night. Like I kind of love this 24-hour clock. It's like taking away a lot of the nighttime anxiety I used to have, if that makes any sense at all.
Well, I'm sure it's nice too, knowing that Tate's protected throughout the night, because that you have the night nurse just in case. Because I feel like that's where my biggest anxiety would come from, is because you hear all these like scary things that can happen to babies, or if they're like laying improperly, like they can get like suds or this or that. So I feel like that helps you sleep better because you're like, she's safe.
When the night nurse isn't here, I don't think I ever go to real sleep. Even knowing she's in the snoo, which, listen, I won't get into the snoo right now, but like the cases of the sudden infant deaths, there's been 3 total as opposed to like 3,200 a year and like a crib, right? So like my peace of mind is better with the snoo, but still, like if I hear even cough, I'm just like, did she choke on fluid? Like, and I think a lot of new parents feel that way. So when the night nurse isn't here, I'm never fully asleep.
Yeah.
Because it does just scare, it just scares you. Like you're just, I saw this video online of a guy today being like, just make a baby noise. Like, are you alive? Because sometimes they're so still.
Yeah.
And so it really just is scary because you don't want anything to happen to this little thing.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Do you guys think that, because I know in your episode you guys were iffy on if you were going to get a nanny or not based off of how she's doing. Have you guys thought any more about that?
So we're going to start a part-time one to see, because we do need to do work. Like the whole point of the nanny is like so we can go back to work, right? Yeah. And there are a lot of times where it's like I just need one more hand and I could type on a computer, right? So we're gonna try a part-time one starting next week, and then see. And we're trying her for 2 months part-time and just like seeing how that fits, and then I think we'll figure out the nanny thing from there. But like I definitely think we thought we for sure wanted a nanny, and then you have her and you're like, oh, I really do want to do most of it. So we're going to try and strike a good balance of like, I don't know, not an 8-hour a day nanny, but maybe like a 4 or 5 hour a day nanny who we can get stuff done and then take her. So we're going to try that.
Well, I'm sure that'd be good too, because you and Harrison both, you guys work remote, that I feel like a nanny will help with the work-life balance, because I can't even imagine you two being home with her. Like, I'm sure you're like, I just want to play with Tate. I just want to check on Tate. Like, this will help you be able to focus differently.
Yeah, and it makes it fun too. Like when somebody comes over and takes her for an hour or 2 hours, you know, and like then I'll go run around and do things. And then when I get her again, like I'm fully devoted to her, as opposed to like trying to have her the whole time and half-ass getting stuff done. Then it takes me twice as long. Whereas if I can get the things done in this like finite amount of time, and then have her like, I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, and then I'm paying attention to her. And I feel like it's a recipe for like me being a better mom, which is good.
Yeah, I love that. I do have one fun question, but before I switch to that, was there anything else you wanted to add or say? I could literally sit here with you for like 20 more hours and be like, I have so many questions. I'm so excited to meet her. You guys, Alex is coming to New York in the beginning of November with Tate, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're coming then too, because like I feel like every week I get more on schedule, and like, and I'm excited to fly with her. Everyone says like flying with the newborn's better than like flying with like a 2-year-old who's just like running around.
Yeah.
So and I want us to like keep doing our life with her, and I don't want to get caught in this like don't go anywhere, don't do anything mode, because I think like the precedent you set at the beginning is like a good one. So I'm very excited we're doing New York with her, and I think like at that point meeting her, she'll just be a little older.
Yeah, I actually really like that. The precedent you set in the beginning is the one it will continue to be. That's really, I feel like that's really good to implement if you're able to.
Yeah, like I think if you said I'm not, if I didn't leave her, you know, like Harrison and I went on a dinner date last week, just the two of us. Usually we take her to dinner with us because she's fine to sit there for 2 hours. She sleeps, right? If we time it right. But we went just the two of us last week. And I was like, wow, I'm really glad we did that, because now, you know, I have left her with Harrison's mom. And so it's like setting that early on, that mindset just helps basically her fit into our lives. You know, like we're not changing everything around for the baby. Like we change so much, but like not our schedule, you know?
Yeah. Should we do Rex, or is that weird?
No, I think we should do Rex, right? Yeah.
Maybe give like your rec and then also like a baby rec for a new mom or mom to be.
Okay. My rec, we had TV shows in there.
Yeah. We've been watching a lot of TV.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I really can feed a lot to the TV shows. Nobody Wants This. What did you think?
So good. Did you like it?
Loved it, and they've got to give us a season 2.
I loved it too, because like the podcast part, I was like, I felt like you and I could relate to some degree. I was like, this is funny.
Yes. It was so funny, and like they were unapologetic, and then like I identified with the dating the Jewish boy. I was like, oh, because what we did like our first Friday was a Shabbat. Like I've learned to make the challah. Like and so I liked seeing that side of it. So that's my rec. But is that also your rec?
Well, quick thing, do you know that's a true story? The only difference is he wasn't a rabbi in real life, but that is a true story.
No.
Yeah, I just saw it on TikTok. It's it was the girl, I believe she produced it. And everything's like true besides him being a rabbi. He's actually like in the entertainment industry in real life. But yeah, it's a true story. They have a podcast
What's
and everything.
What's the podcast?
I forgot the name, but I'll send it to you because it's like all over TikTok right now, her story.
Oh my gosh. That actually makes me like it more.
Yeah, right? I was like, this is cool.
Are the parents divorced and is the dad gay?
She said that the family dynamics were true. I don't know to like what degree, but she was like, the way his family treated her was true. So I'm like, did the prosciutto thing actually happen? Because if so, that was freaking hilarious.
Please tell me it did. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, I want a season 2 because I want to know where they're at now.
I think there will be. I mean, this show literally got so popular. I can't imagine them not doing that.
Yeah, it was so good. Okay, so am I taking your rec by that being my rec?
No, my rec. I picked a different one because I figured you would say that. My rec is the show Yellow Jackets. It's actually on its third season, but due to the writer's strike, it took like a year, 2 years off, and season 3 just came out. So I started season 1, and it's very good. It's about this high school college team. They go to nationals, but their plane crashes and they're like stuck, stranded, and it like goes back and forth to them being stuck on wherever they're stuck, and then the future. So you kind of know to like some degree like who survives, but like fucked up things happen, and it's like pretty gruesome, but it's like very good.
Oh, Harrison would love that show.
Yeah, Pete watches it, so it's definitely like a guy show. Like you can watch it.
Okay, I will tell him to watch that. Wow, what's that on?
So I believe Prime is all 3 seasons, but Netflix just added season 1.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. Well, we'll add that to the list because I do kind of need a new show. Okay, so that's your rec. Okay, and I'll give a baby rec.
Yeah.
I think my baby rec. I really want people to look at the snoo, and I don't want you to be jaded by the price of the snoo because you can rent the snoo for like a fraction of the cost on a monthly basis, and you would only need it for like 6 months. So I think checking out the snoo because it's 1, she loves it. 2, it's given us a lot of peace of mind. So that's my rec.
Oh, have you read to her yet the book that I sent?
So I tried to read. Okay, that is my new. I'm stealing your gift.
Please do.
Idea.
Please, isn't it like no, not to like too. I didn't. My mom like does it all the time, like so I didn't come up with it. But I thought it's a great gift.
No, it's so cute. But here's the thing. So I sat down the very first time to try to read her a book. We're not at the reading book phase yet. We're gonna get there in about a month.
Respect. Hey, maybe they could sponsor the pod. The book company.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I think it's like Wonderly. No, that's a podcast. Wonder something.
I'll look it up. It's the cutest thing on the planet. Like, I opened it and I was like, oh, a book. And then I was like, does that say Tate? I was like, this is the coolest book ever.
It's Wonderbly. So Wonder BLY. And you can go on and customize books. There's a few other things you can customize as well for babies, but it's like all baby stuff.
It's and it arrived so fast.
I know. I was shocked by that. I told my mom, I was like, oh, I wasn't able to add my name. And she goes, Jordan, literally that's the first thing you do is you can add your name to the first page. I was like, oh, I missed that.
Oh, whoops. Now you know. It's such a good gift though. It's so dang cute. I have it sitting, I put it in front of all her other books because I'm like, this one has your name on it.
Cute. Oh, I can't wait to meet her.
You're going to love her. I'll have to plan her outfits for New York, which I can't wait for.
Oh my gosh.
I'll dress her cute.
She's going to be a cute little fall baby.
I need some fall weather in my life, so I'm very excited we're coming.
And the trees will be all falled out. You guys are coming the perfect time.
Yeah, I'm going to walk all through the park. Like, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Me too. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for listening. If you guys have any mom, baby, pregnancy questions, DM them to us and we can start like doing that for like a while, like listener question wise or like implementing them into the episode.
I think that's a really good idea because I had so many questions and I like didn't know where, like it took me forever to find info. So I think that's a great idea.
Okay, cool. Me too. And I probably have a million questions next episode too because you're back now.
I know, and I'm so happy to be back. And we're going to record in person when I'm in New York, so it's going to be great.
Yes. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for joining in. We love you so much, and we will see you next week. And you have to say bye, love you to the listeners, Alex.
Oh, sorry. Bye, guys. I love you very much. Okay, that's it for today's episode. As always, thank you for listening to Mean Girl Pod, powered by Just Media House. I'm Alex Bennett.
And I'm Jordyn Woodruff. So, AB, do what you do best.
If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, rate, and review. We are at Mean Girl Pod on all platforms. Stay connected with us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Snapchat at Mean Girl Pod. Podcast and social artwork and post-production by Creative Evolution Studios. Theme song to the Mean Girl Pod performed by Sergi Asbel. Mean Girl Pod, we're your besties in your ear. New episodes every Monday.